Greetings, loved ones, and welcome back to another RENO vlog. I'm in the same outfit as I was when I ended off the last video because it's the same day, okay? So I am currently in the dentist parking lot because I had to drop Finley off here, and he's in there now getting a filling replaced. He got like a really old filling when he was younger, and it's been like decaying and falling apart, and he really needs to get a crown put on over it now to protect it from further decay. I don't know what else to say other than the word decay, I guess, but it's dark. So he's in there now. I was supposed to get my 6-month cleaning actually on my sister's birthday on September 19th. And I had that scheduled like with my Virginia dentist, but then obviously we moved to Vermont. So I needed to cancel that appointment and get in at a new dentist. And I have been calling this place trying to schedule my own appointment for so long. And I don't know if they got Finley in really quickly just because he had like an emergency dental appointment that was needed. That's probably the case, but they were not replying back to my emails or my phone calls. So when he went in for his appointment today for the filling, I was like, instead of just dropping you off, I'm going to come with you because I need to go grocery shopping after this. And then I'm also going to come in and try to get myself set up as a new patient because you have to like fill out all those forms and it's so boring, you know? So I figured like might as well just do it while he's back there. And so I just got that done, and it literally took a half hour to schedule the appointment and fill out the paperwork. But now I don't have to deal with it when I first come for my appointment. I don't need to come early. I can just come on the day and then we go and do it. But dude, I have to tell you a story because they were so nice, right? They just like are going back and forth between having new people at the front desk, and that's the reason why they weren't getting back to my call. It wasn't anything sinister, you know, it never is. So when I was scheduling the appointment, she was like, oh, what about October 13th? It's literally Friday the 13th. I was like, oh, I'm actually going to get my hair cut that day. And she was like, you're not cutting it all off. And like, I don't know this woman, you know, but people, even strangers, they get attached to my hair. And I get it, you know, like they see it, they're like, oh, it's beautiful. I'm like, thank you so much. So she just like was going on and on about how beautiful my hair was. And I was like, don't worry, I'm not cutting it off. I'm just getting bangs. And she was like, are you sure about bangs? Not judgmentally, but just like, are you really sure? And I was like, yeah, I had them twice. Like I first got them in 2016, and then I had them into 2017, and then I ended up just growing them out that year. And then I missed them so much that again, at the end of 2018, I got them, and then I kept them until 2019. Anyway, this is a long timeline, but like it's 2023 and I missed my bangs. So I'm gonna bring my bangs back. And she was like, just be really sure, you know? And it's like, why do people do this? But it's like, it's not your place to tell me what to do with my hair. Like, I literally just met you. It was just a funny little interaction. I was like, don't worry, I'm really sure about it. I've been thinking about it for a really long time. Literally like 3 months ago, I told Finley I want to get bangs again. And he was like, okay. And then I never did. And then the other day I was going through, this was actually on Rue's Gotcha Day. So on the 8th of September, I was going through a bunch of photos from 2019, and I had bangs when we first got her. And I was like, God damn, I just missed them. So I'm gonna get them, okay? And we're gonna do like a cute little fringe moment, you know, like the side pieces, maybe like kind of fuller this time. The last bangs that I had in 2018 were kind of like piecey, so I kind of want to get them more full like I had in 2016. I'm gonna go grocery shopping now, leave Finley to his dentistry, and yeah, we'll carry on with the day. But the day is, what is it, Wednesday? It's literally Monday. What's wrong with me? I just feel like so much has happened in the past week. I can't keep up with anything anymore. But we're just gonna keep on trucking, go get some groceries, and live our lives. So, love ya. Another successful trip to the co-op. Also, our mailman puts our mail in these giant plastic bags when it's raining because he can't get up our driveway. So that's why that's there. And then that's my emergency car kit. Instead of doing another grocery haul, I just feel like you guys have seen what I've been buying. I've been buying pretty much the same things since moving here because our oven isn't working and I have limited things that I can make anyways. So instead of showing you that, I'm gonna do a workout, and I'm gonna link what I'm doing down below if I like it. But that's the plan, Stan. And Larry's over here asleep in his little bed, and I'm gonna get after it. Yeah. I love when you stand, Drew. Oh, I love it. I feel like I'm on my knees too much with this. Like, can I sit? This isn't a hurt knee friendly workout. I hate these. This woman loves to do exercises on her knees. Oh, sheesh. I'm getting nauseous upside down. Oh, this is an intense arm workout, y'all. Sheesh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Help. Oh, save me. Help me. Lord Almighty. That was intense. That video also doesn't have any stretching, so I'm just gonna stretch it out intuitively. That's seriously a workout that you could do in bed watching this vlog. Like multiple times I was just sitting on the floor, just raising my arms up and down, but like those body weight presses, oh my God, dude, incredible. That one really burned. I would definitely do that again, except I just don't want to spend as much time on my knees. So you guys saw, I was just doing a lot of the exercises crisscross applesauce instead, but wow, that was intense for what, 10 minutes? Pretty swift as well. I've never done a Jane Kate workout before, but she came up in my recommended. I figured, hell, why not? I literally broke a sweat from that too. I wanted to do upper body because I'm gonna be doing lower body Zumba classes 2 days in a row, if not 3 days in a row this week. So just figured it would be better to focus a little more on the upper body for at least one workout of mine this week. All right, I gotta slip into something a little more comfortable here. And y'all already know, after my workout, I gotta get my electrolytes in. I've chatted about Element in a past video, but their watermelon salt has quickly become a staple in my diet, especially on super active days. Delicious. Element is an amazing electrolyte drink mix with lots of good salt and none of the junk. No added sugar, gluten, food coloring, fillers, artificial ingredients, or other BS. Their packets are full of a science-backed electrolyte ratio of 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. Formulated to help replenish the electrolytes your body needs after a workout, a big sweat, or even a night of drinking. As a reminder, Element is still offering my viewers a sample pack of 8 single-serving packets free with any order. This is the best way to get to try all 8 flavors, share them with a friend, or just stock up your wellness cabinet. You can get yours at drinkelement.com/Meghan Hughes, and this deal is only available through my link, so go to drinklmnt.com/Meghan Hughes to get yours today. Thanks, Element. Oh, good morning, Roofer Roo. We just had the guy come over to bring these samples to us for our roof. So this is the classic rib of the exposed fastener. So he said there would be like 2 screws here, 2 screws here, you know, and then this is the snap lock metal kind of standing seam. So the fasteners get covered by these little things here. And you can tell like this is ribbed, but you can do smooth as well. We got some color selections there. He left these behind when he left, which was nice because we still have some deciding to do for our color selection. It's a hard decision because we want to replace the siding and we don't know what color exactly we're going to do that for. So it's like we have to pick a color that's going to match whatever future siding, but we don't know what that is. But it was a really great little roofing appointment. Super nice guy. I think the team's going to be good. Love it.
6.5 hours later.
Fit check. I'm going to try another Zumba class. I have another one to go to tomorrow, actually, that I'm going to try to pitch myself at. I might even tonight, if I like the class, be like, hey, if you ever need a sub, I'm your girl. But I think that the class tomorrow might be just a little bit different, but we'll just have to go and see. But I'm wearing these little girlfriend leggings. I love the brown. And then this shirt, actually, Kendall Ray sent me from a fundraiser that she did. Love it. I got my little patella strap on, and I also found this in my t-shirt dresser, my little headband collection, which is a sleigh. I'm gonna talk to you guys in the car though, because I have more updates for you that have happened today. So, first thing this morning, we had our roofer come out, which I showed you guys a clip of, just doing the like little samplings, showing us all the colors, and we pretty much decided that we're gonna go with exposed fastener, which is what we already have on right now. But from what our contractor was telling us, you could go like 20 years without having to replace those fasteners, the screws in your roof. So he was like, you could replace them in 20 years, years and do just like a thicker screw. Finley was like, you got to go thicker, right? And he was like, yes, you are right, because the holes will get bigger from where the old screws were. So then you have to size up in screw. And he was like, you could size up 2 separate times. So in 20 years, and then in another 20 years, 40 years, and then you would have to replace the roof after, you know, those screws started failing. He was like, that's obviously once, you know, you're in a good situation with the roof, you maintain it, and it can last as long as you maintain it for, right? And take care of it and not neglect it like Anyway, he was super nice, and we had obviously already met him when he first came out to give us a quote. We initially thought that he would just repair and like patch repair the roof a couple weeks ago. This actually was probably like a month ago when he first came out, and he was like, yeah, I could do a repair job, but also like I could just replace the whole thing for this price. It was the lowest price that we got. I've been talking about all of this on my Patreon and stuff like that, just giving like exact costs, but we have had like a huge stipulation in price from like him to somebody else to somebody kind of in the middle that also never got back about different material quotes to us and has just been kind of like MIA. I literally called 14 different roofing contractors. 3 of them replied and actually came out. That's wild, right? Anyway, we got that all out of the way and like good and settled. We basically just have to like accept the quote for the material that we're going to be using for the roof, and then we'll move forward with putting down a deposit for them, and then they can come out and replace it in October. And that's ideal for us. And in the meantime, we need to just like tarp that area so that if another, God forbid, huge storm happens where, you know, the wind's blowing and the rain, we really think that like how the wind was blowing that day made the rain come in certain areas that hasn't been happening with just like lighter rains. That's our theory, at least. We're not weather reporters, but that's what we think. And then after the roofer left, we actually went to our first PCP appointment together, which was so fun that we were able to be in the same room together. And I was really trying to find like a good family doctor here that could not only be like for Finley and I, but like when we have kids, they could go see this doctor, right? And I found this guy, and I told you guys when I found him, actually, like, it was a very chill experience. His wife is his receptionist. She literally works from home. So like when I was on the phone with her, she was talking about her toddler and how the toddler was playing in the background, and she was like, I'm so sorry if you can like hear her. I was like, it's totally fine, like, love it. And we were talking about, I don't know, just like a bunch of various things, and I talked to her for so long before I even like made the appointment, and I just had good vibes about not only her, but like how she was talking about her husband's practice, and she was like, you know, he's kind of an overachiever, he'll do any of the labs that you ask for. And I was like, labs? He will do labs? Because I've been telling y'all, like, when I got my labs for my hormone panel, my full hormone panel that I got done at the end of June, and I made that video where the thumbnail said, I'm not doing okay. So dramatic, but I for real was not doing okay. I felt crazy that week, just really spiraling like about my high DHEAS levels and whatnot, and I also had kind of high testosterone, like a little bit higher than normal. And then I went and dove into the whole PCOS spectrum thing, which I talked to you guys about in past vlogs, but I basically wanted to go to this doctor specifically because he also kind of specializes in women's health, and he's not an OBGYN, and his wife made that very clear. She was like, he's not an OB, but he will answer like any of your questions about that kind of stuff, do whatever labs you want to do as long as he, you know, has the stuff for it, and, you know, uses like what all the other doctors use, like Quest Diagnostics or whatever. And he can also tell you about your diet and all this kind of like more functional and holistic medicine, as well as just like regular medicine, like traditional medicine. And so when we went, we were talking to him, and we realized like he is truly the best of both worlds of realizing what the patient needs. He recognized in me that I've already been like taking the reins on my hormone health before my endocrinology appointment that is happening in December. That's a long way to wait from June to December. That's like 5 full months. So he was like, in the meantime, like, I can run your labs now again and check that DHEAS, see if it's increased since you've been like taking supplements, you know, to help and changing some of your like lifestyle and stuff like that. And I can see if those levels have lowered. And I was like, yes, slay, sir. Okay. And I was just shocked truly how responsive he was to, you know, me taking charge of like, oh, I want to get these labs drawn because I'm curious about knowing about this. And he wasn't like, oh, are you trying to have a baby? Because I only do that if you're trying to have a baby, which is most gynecologists and PCPs. They will literally only give you a full hormone panel if you're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to conceive. They're like, oh, okay, then we'll do it. But if you normally ask for it, they don't do it, which is just insane to me. I also recently listened to Race to 35's episode with Christina Perry. Race to 35 is basically a fertility podcast where they're in the process of freezing their eggs. And they have on all of these guests who talk about like their fertility, their pregnancies, like their journey in this whole kind of fertility field, right? And Christina Perry, the singer, came on and talked about her 2 miscarriages that she had due to like a blood clot syndrome. She said factor 5 and APS. It's like antiphospholipid syndrome or something like that. And she has been kind of like, is lobbying the right word? She's been like fighting for the American Board of OBGYNs to put this new blood clot test onto their full hormone panel for women. And she was like, it's just a simple test. You can just ask for it. Ask your PCP. And so today I asked my PCP and he was like, yeah, I've never done that before, but let me look it up. Literally took out his laptop, researched what, you know, specific tests he needs to get done. And he was like, oh yeah, I have all the materials today to like send off that test, get that drawn for you. And we can see if you have this kind of like blood clotting syndrome. I'm like, thank you. Like just, you know, anything that I had questions for, he was like, oh, absolutely. Like, oh, you have a question about that? I'll answer it in full length. Like rather than, you know, I had this issue where other people that I would go see, other doctors and stuff, it seemed like they really needed to rush me out of there. They really needed to like keep our visit to a certain, I don't know, 15 minutes and then we were gone. But like I literally talked to him with Finley in the room for like an hour and 15 minutes. And we were just going over all of these questions about like my health and us together and like family planning and like all of this kind of stuff. And then Finley had his appointment too. And we were there for like, I don't know, like 2 hours or so. But we both got like our necessary labs drawn that we wanted to. And we both just talked to him about like our diet and our exercise and all this stuff. And I talked to him about my joint pain. And he was just like, I could literally give you like an x-ray in the next few days. Like I could order you an x-ray and we could get that done and see if you have a slip disc or a pinched nerve on your spine that's affecting and shooting down through the pain in your knee, because that's what it would happen. And then sometimes you feel the pain in your toes. And I was like, I literally was feeling the pain in my toes recently. And he was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you have a pinched nerve. We could see in the x-ray. You know, it's like anything where I was so used to expecting to wait like months for results, he was like, yeah, we could just like get it ordered and like get it out, you know. And it was just such a rare experience. Finley and I, when we were driving home, were like, this is like a gem. Like we found a gem of a man and of a doctor, you know what I mean? It's very unfortunate, but it is quite rare to have this kind of a situation where you feel like it's attentive, it's thorough, they're answering all of your questions, and they'll do most of the stuff that you care about and are asking for your own health, because they also are prioritizing your health. They're not prioritizing money or filling in as many patient slots as they can. And so it's a very like interesting situation. Like he obviously is very, very passionate about what he does, only takes on like a limited amount of, you know, clients throughout the day. And it was just like such an amazing experience. We were both like, yes, we finally found something that worked. Anyway, I have to go to Zumba now, but I wanted to tell you about my amazing doctor experience because it's just like very rare to find something like that. And I just feel like everybody deserves this level of care. And I sincerely hope that all of you find that if you're interested in finding medical care. Love you. Okay, I'll talk to you probably after Zumba.
A few minutes later.
Okay, literally when I pulled up to this place, I thought I was like at the wrong house because this person just has like a private property sign outside, but she was on the front porch, so I like stuck my head out of my car and I'm like, do you do Zumba? And she was like, yeah, we're about to start. I hear the music actually, so I'm gonna go in, but like, wish me luck. I've never been to Zumba at somebody's house.
Many unbearable hours later.
Okay, I'm gonna go find a parking lot and give you guys a story time, but all I have to say before that is just trust your intuition and your initial vibes. All right, I feel like the vlogs have just been story time central lately, but I have another one for you because I went to the craziest Zumba class I've ever been to today. And I wouldn't even really call it a class. It was really just me and a woman dancing in a room together with an old man on Facebook video call. So that's the vibe that I was in tonight. I'm not gonna like harp too much on how I even found out about this class or like who the woman is, you know, obviously, but I'm just gonna tell you the story because I need to like keep a log of what happened tonight and tell you because it was just so absurd from the moment I pulled in. So I pulled in to the address, and when I was researching like where this place was, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like it looks like a house, like not a gym or something like I'm normally used to going to. And when I got there, there was like a big private property sign, like I think I mentioned to you guys. So I literally thought I was in the wrong place. And so I kind of pulled off onto this street to turn around, but then on my GPS it was saying like, you're here, you've arrived. So I saw a woman standing on the porch of like the address where I was supposed to go. And I was like, maybe I should just ask her, like, if she knows where this Zumba class would be. And was like, hey, is there like a Zumba class here? Sorry, like, I don't know if I'm in the right place. And she was like, yeah, I teach Zumba. And I was like, oh, okay, well, like, do you do it here? And she was like, yeah, I'm just on the phone. Like, I just need to get off the phone and then I'm gonna teach the class. And normally if I'm going to a new class, I'll show up at least 5 minutes before class. Sometimes it's good to allot 10 if you're going to a big gym that will need to like process you through their system and stuff like that. But I knew that it wasn't a gym, so I was like, 5 should be fine. I'll register for the class with her, pay for it, introduce myself, chat, whatever, like I would normally do in a situation like this. And so when I got out of the car and was talking to her, it was like 5 minutes until class was gonna start. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just like go and park then and meet you out here. And then when I get out of my car, and this was like right after I filmed that clip before class, being like, oh, weird, you know, I was like texting Finley being like, I'm getting kind of like a weird vibe. I don't know. It's just seeming like I might be the only student. Like I don't really see any other cars and it's like at this person's house, you know, all this stuff. So I was like trying to get a read on the situation, but I didn't know until I would go inside, like what to expect basically. So when I went outside, she was still on the phone and she said that she was on the phone with her dad. And she was like, you know, complaining on the phone to me, being like, my dad just won't get off the phone, you know, he won't let me hang up. And I was like, oh, haha, like awkwardly laughing, like, it's fine, you know. And she had like a bunny, like on a leash attached to a tree in her front yard and was like, that's my bunny. And I was like, cool. And just like kind of standing in her front yard, like, am I supposed to go in? Like, I don't know. Am I supposed to like sign in somewhere? And I just like had all these questions running through my head. She was still on the phone. And then finally she got off and she was referring to her Zumba classes as her parties. So she was like, thank God you like came to my party. And I was like, yeah, totally. Like Zumba's such a party. Like, ready to go. And honestly, in my town, there's a lot of like old houses that are used as businesses. So I was thinking when I approached the place, like maybe it just looks like a house, but maybe it actually is like a business with like a big dance room inside, like that the walls have been cleared out from. Like, I don't know. But when she opened the door, I was just hit with like a wall of mildew and mold smell. Like I can still for real smell it on my clothes. And obviously I didn't like say any of this outright when I first walked into the house, but mentally I was like, whoa, it fucking stinks in here. And there was like lone socks, like singular socks in front of the door she was leading me to. And she literally was like, haha, don't mind those socks. I have a stalker. Yeah. And I was like, what? Like, she was just dropping random bombs where I was just like, can you elaborate? You know what I mean? So I literally asked her, I was like, excuse me, or what, or something? And she was like, oh yeah, me and my stalker, we like have this running joke where he loves me so much he would like give me his dirty socks. So that's the socks. And then like shut the door and I was like, holy shit. And it was just, you know, I'm not gonna go into too much detail about her house because that is her business, but it was, you know, not a classroom setting where you would want to have a lot of people. In my head, before I had gone into the house, I thought maybe there was people waiting inside for her to start the class. She also had like mentioned to me briefly when we were out and I was waiting in her front yard that she like has online students. So I was like, maybe she just has like a ton of people online like in there waiting. Like, I'm just here to dance, you know, at the end of the day, I just want a boogie. So that's why I'm here and I'm trying to like get a vibe for the classes around so that I can teach in this area and see what it's like. And she like led me to where she was going to be teaching the class and she was just talking to me about a bunch of stuff that was not Zumba. Like this was a bunch of things that you would not share with somebody who, you know, you just met, and was just like going on and on about like men and like they do all of this stuff and they're useless and just like add nothing to her life and only take things away like her kids. And I was like, oh, again, not judging people's situation. That's really unfortunate when that happens, but like for you to say that to me just like as soon as I enter your house and I'm just like here for a Zumba class is like pretty, you know, putting it all out on the line. And she was just like, yeah, that's why we gotta like dance it all out, right? Let's just dance it all out. And I was like, yeah, totally. And after I was kind of like assessing the situation, like I'm a pretty aware person in the way of like, I know what's going on in my surroundings and I know the type of people that I'm dealing with and I know what to give in the way of like information about myself and not. And so I didn't even tell her that I like just became a Zumba instructor because from the vibes I was getting, I was like, I just don't want her to know and like try to get me involved in this kind of like maybe career thing with her because she was speaking so badly on like every single person who has ever taught around this area and was just like, oh yeah, this person, like they suck and like they don't know how to lead a class and they don't know how to dance and like just like gossiping really and talking about like all the places that she taught at before she just started teaching out of her home. And I was just kind of like, you know, like awkwardly standing around and she gave me like a little footstool thing to put my purse and my water bottle down on. And I'm just like trying to give you guys the vibe, you know, there's like a bunny on a leash on the front porch and like me inside with my shit on a footstool and me and this woman I just met. And she's like frantically walking around her house being like, I forgot my hair clip. Oh, I forgot my water. Do you need anything? Like asking all this stuff. And I'm just standing there like, what's this class gonna be like? You know what I mean? Like, again, just here to dance. But also you have to understand, like, I know a lot of you will be watching this and probably think like, oh, I would have left as soon as I like clocked that, you know, like weird vibes, I'm out of there. And obviously I do encourage you to do that because if you have bad vibes about a place, you should leave. But at the point where I was, I'm in a stranger's home that I don't know. It's literally only me and her. And from the vibes I'm getting, loose cannon vibes. I'll just say that, you know, and I'm not gonna like say anything about the other things that I suspected from her energy, but you know, I didn't know what she would do and I'm just alone in that situation. So again, choosing my words very carefully, like being mindful about what I say and interact with when it comes to the things she was telling me, because I also just wanted the class to start. We didn't start dancing until like 15 minutes had passed, you know, like that is not normal. So I knew anything that I interacted with her that she was kind of firing off at me would just delay the class further and would make me stay there longer. And she was just going on and on. Like she showed me her Zen Play app, which is this little app that we use as Zumba instructors to organize our playlists, and you can see all of the songs and how long the class will be. And she showed it to me, and honestly, thank God she did, because when she showed it to me, it was like an hour and 15 minutes, and we're already 15 minutes late. Like, I'm not about to be here for an hour and a half. Like, I'm not gonna do that. So as soon as she showed that to me, I was already plotting like that I would leave at the allotted time that class should have been over at. So I registered that in my head. But when she showed me her playlist, she literally read off every single song to me, name by name, just being like, and then we move into this, naming them all, the artists, what she thought about them. I'm like, let's just dance, you know? So I was just like, And then for a while she was like setting up her online class, and I was kind of like, oh, you teach online too? That's cool. And she was like, yeah, I only really have one student now, and he's kind of followed me everywhere that I've taught at and now takes my classes online because he can't come in person anymore. And also I'm kind of glad he doesn't because he smells like mold. And in my head I was like, this place smells like mold, you know what I mean? But she was like, you know, like when people smell like molds and you can like smell it on them. And it felt like one of those situations where it was like, do you want me to respond to this? You know what I mean? Because like, I think we both know that this place smells like that, but maybe she was in denial. I don't know. But I didn't react or give her anything. I was just like, oh, okay. Then she like sets up the Facebook video call with this man. She was also telling me like a lot about that man specifically, where it was just like unprofessional vibes. Like if you're an instructor, you should not talk to your students about your other students and their lives. Like I think that that's just kind of a privacy thing. And then he finally comes on the call and she's like, let me introduce you. And I literally just like popped my head in and was like, hi. hi, you know, and he was like on the webcam laptop, and then it was me and this woman. And granted, the space that we're dancing in is like as big as this room that I'm in right now. Honestly, even a little bit smaller. Like, and there was furniture everywhere. And in my head, I'm like, where am I gonna dance? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, is she gonna face me and I mirror her? Because that's what you're supposed to do in Zumba. Like, you're always supposed to face your students. And then finally, she turns on this like giant speaker in her living room and we start dancing. And I literally have like as much as my body width is in space. Maybe like an extra few inches on one side, but there's like furniture all around me. And I didn't really know like how she would instruct because the space was so small. And the situation ended up being like me here and her like here, you know, a couple feet in front of me and like to the right. And so the whole class, I was just like watching her and my neck was just like this, which is like not how you're supposed to do it either. So I was like trying to follow along because it's like trying to like mirror her moves and like dance with her, but like right next to her, like it was weird. And I just kept running into stuff like multiple times. I accidentally like tripped over her lights that she had as like her background for the webcam thing. And I was just like, what's happening? And I really thought like once we started dancing, like maybe she's just a really good dancer and maybe like I'm gonna sweat a bunch and like this will all be worth it. I don't know. At the end of the day, like at least I have the story and I got some workout in. And I thought that once the music turned on, like we wouldn't talk anymore because we never did that at any other place that I've ever taken Zumba. You are not talking in between the songs. Even like how much my instructor in Oregon talked was a lot compared to the other places that I've been to. Like she would kind of talk in between songs, be like, oh, go get water, whatever. But a lot of places it's just like bing, bang, boom. You're going song to song. Maybe you have a 10-second water break every like 3 songs or something like that. But we're not talking about each other's lives. But she was very much so talking about her life, like a lot, you know? And I was just like, what's happening? The music was so loud. I like couldn't really hear her, but she was like motor mouthing like through all of the songs, like, you know, like, yeah. And I was just like, it's just totally, yeah. And then she brings up again where she used to instruct like 4 or so different places. Oh, I've taught all over, you know? And I was like, yeah, you said that or something. And she was like, yeah, but then I can't even say it. I'm so sorry in advance. Okay, so she was like, yeah, I used to instruct at all of those places, but then the bioweapon hit, so I'm not gonna teach in a fucking mask. And I was like, oh, she's referring to the pandemic as a bioweapon. Dude, red fucking flags. As if I didn't have red flags before, but I was just like not giving her anything there. Like, I'm not gonna get into a debate with this woman about coronavirus. So I was just like, awkward laugh, like, and it was one of those things where when she said it, she could probably tell that like I was a little uncomfortable. So she did one of those things where it's like she responded for me in my inner monologue, but under her breath, like, you're fucking crazy. You know what I mean? But like under her breath to the point where like I could hear it and I was just like, not gonna acknowledge that. All right. And then she brings up the creator of Zumba during one of the songs. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I didn't even know this man's name until I did my teacher training. I'm not like in it because of Beto. I'm not like, oh my God, he's the best, like fangirl culty vibes, but I have gotten some of that energy a couple of times from different instructors throughout the years, just like that they really love him and are really in it like for him basically and his message, which is cool, you know, to like have a message. But like the vibes I was getting from her are like, he is my, you know? So she brings up the fact that Beto's having a master class in Ottawa, Canada, and brings it up to me and I was like, oh yeah, I heard about that because as a Zen member, I got like an email about it. And I didn't say that to her, but like I knew about it. So I told her that and she was like, it's only 5 hours away. I'm renting a car. Like we should go. Let's go together. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be doing then. Like, when is it? And she told me when it was. And I was just like, not giving her anything. And she goes on and on about like how she's going to go there and she's going to meet him and she's going to get him to follow her on Instagram and then it's only up from there. Endless possibilities after he follows me on Instagram and was literally like, it was during one of those songs where we're like doing prayer hands and like stuff like this. And I was like, this is an interesting energy. So I was just kind of taking her advice, dance it out. Yeah, we're just gonna dance it out. So just kind of ignoring that and completely skirting around her invitation to go on a 5-hour road trip with her. And then she brings up how she thinks and theorizes that she met Beto's nephew. She was like, yeah, like the other day he was visiting around here and I met him. And I was like, oh really? Like how did you know that he was his uncle or whatever? And she was like, well, he didn't say it, but he said, my uncle is really into Zumba, and then he ran away. So screaming famous to me. I gotta like get in touch with him and like get in with him and then tell Beto like I know your nephew. And like this is all happening. She's talking to me and stuff during the music while this like 70-something-year-old man is just like on Facebook video like facing us, you know? And he can hear everything. Like he was interacting sometimes with what she was saying. And this next song comes on and it's like kind of sexy, which is like not abnormal for Zumba. So she was like getting into the sexy, you know, like body roll kind of vibes. And she literally turns to me and says out loud to where me and this man can hear her, sometimes I just like to be really sexy, like for him, you know, like just sexy, you know, and sometimes like his wife might be watching and like, yeah. And I was just like, what? What? Just move on, you know, keep on trucking, keep awkwardly laughing and dancing. That was my energy. She said a lot of out there things other than that. She said that somebody, and this is wild if this happened, this is like, I feel like I should put a trigger warning on the screen for what she said. She said that somebody had taken their life and gotten hit by the train in town. And I was like, oh, really? And she was like, yeah, it was in the newspaper. Can you say bioweapon? I don't think I really need to explain this to you, but she was basically drawing, you know, a huge conclusion that vaccines had led this person to do that. And I was just like, holy motherfuck, where am I? You know what I mean? So completely not giving her any response to that. And I'm trying to think if that's all of the wild things that she said. There was a lot of things. She just kept talking and I was just like kind of picking up on what it was and then kind of things were passing by. But I was just trying to like remember things so that I could tell you guys about it afterwards and just be like, that happened, dude. Like she said that, you know what I mean? From the beginning to the end, it was a very weird vibe. So I looked at my watch as soon as it hit an hour and was kind of like, you know, like pitter pattering on it, like tapping on it to make, you know, kind of a gesture like, oh, looking at the time. So she goes, are you good after one of the songs? And I was like, oh, I actually have to go. Like I only have an hour for class. So like I gotta head out. She literally went like, this is the doorway. She ran over here and starts like dancing in the doorway and was like, it's just gonna be like 3 more songs. Like just like 3 more songs and then we'll cool down. So it's like 3 more, you know? And it's like dancing and it's like a really upbeat song. And I was like, yeah, this is like a really upbeat song. Like, and I kind of have like my purse and like, you know, my water bottle and like kind of just waiting for her to like literally let me go. And she was just kind of like dancing in the doorway and I was kind of like dancing with her like, yeah. And then finally the song's over and I was like, no, I really have to go. Yeah, I really have to go. I'm actually meeting somebody. And as soon as I said that, she was like, oh, okay, like I'll walk you out. And I was like, oh, I don't want to like interrupt your class with him. Like you can finish whatever they do together. Seemingly her only student on Facebook video. I'm not assuming anything, but it was an interesting vibe from what she said about this sexy dance. And so I was like, no, you guys can like stay. And she's like, no, I'll walk you out. And I was just kind of trying to be like quick about it. Cause sometimes when you say bye in situations like this, like it can really drag on. So I was just immediate bolt out of the door. Not running, but I was just like, keep your eye on the prize. Do not be friendly. But I was just like, so nice to meet you. Yeah. And she was like, I hope that you'll like come back for one of my parties in the future, one of my parties. And I was like, yeah, it's really nice. Okay, see you. I like go outside, the bunny's still attached to the leash, sitting on the porch. And I'm like, bye little bunny. Get in the car, immediately film that clip that you guys saw probably before this. And I didn't end up pulling off into a parking lot. I just drove right home to tell you this story. It was an interesting vibe, an interesting night. And I will say as well, I maybe burned like 120 calories compared to when I would take my instructor Miriam's classes in Virginia. I would burn like 500. Like your girl was not really sweating. Your girl was in like a foot of space, you know, like, yes, woo, for an hour of my life. Another one of those situations where I should have maybe just been less friendly or maybe lied to get out of the situation, but it's always in hindsight, right? Like with any of these situations, like I'm sure that you guys are watching this being like, I would have gotten the hell out of there, or like I would have done this, or I would have said this excuse, but it's like, you really never know how you're gonna act until you're actually in that situation. Actually, I was just thinking about this because I was reading a ton of your comments on my vlog about the roof leak, and so many people just like giving advice on things that they maybe think they know better about than how we handled it. And like, I know that people are gonna do that, but it's like, you actually don't know how you're gonna be in these situations until you're in the situation. So for the most part, I give my accurate representation of what happened when I was experiencing that, but I'm not really like, it already happened. We already hired a roofing contractor. Like, I'm not really interested that much in advice, even in situations like this. Like, I already experienced that. I'm just telling you guys the story just because it's absurd and a story to tell. Not really for anybody to be like, I would have done X, Y, and Z. Like, okay, I'm never gonna go back there. So anyway, I do love you guys, and I appreciate that you watch and you have reactions where you feel like you need to share stuff like that. But also at the same time, it's like, you know, if I'm actually asking for advice, it will sound like, hey, I need advice on this. So yeah. Anyway, just wanted to tell you a little wild story time tonight, and I'm gonna go shower now. That was a time, brother.
The next day.
Look at this view. Ah, beautiful. Just beautiful. Love Vermont. I'm about to take a redemption Zumba class. I'm very excited about it. I even put on my Zumba shirt, and okay, I'll talk to you after. Oh god, I'm gonna go have fun.
1 hour later.
Guys, that class was so hard and iconic. I met the instructor who, I was telling you guys this, but like, she just moved here. I just moved here. She's in kind of like a temporary situation, and she also is, what do they call it? A snowbird, where she leaves for like 10 to 12 weeks in the winter. So I was like, if you need a sub during that time, you let me know. So yeah, I'm just so excited. I like gave her all my information and told her to add me on Facebook or whatever. So I pitched myself hard, but I was just like, I'm a Zumba instructor too. If you want to connect, we could. But she told me a lot about like random places that she also reached out to around the area to teach at, and talking about like Zumba Gold, which is like the more low-key one that's kind of lower impact, as well as Zumba Kids, which she's certified in. And she was like, if you're certified in that, you could sub for me then. But yeah, so we talked about all the things. So fun. Oh my god, such a good class. Definitely a redemption class from last night. I don't need this on yet, but I will need it in a second. Good morning. Today I am doing a bunch of random stuff that I've been putting off for no reason at all. So today I'm going to be spray painting this truck sign. The seller left this behind, and it was like hidden behind a refrigerator that we ended up getting rid of. And somebody commented on one of the vlogs where I was showing that we found this, and was like, you should paint that the color of your old truck Minty to remember her by. And I was like, oh my god, that's so fucking cute. I'm absolutely gonna do that. So that led me to find this paint, which is like the most similar color I could find to my old truck. I'll put a photo of her on the screen. She now lives with my friend Chris, who loves her and cares for her in Portland, Oregon. So this is the color Deep Mint. Love that, for Minty was her name. And I am going to be painting over this darker red, and I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit more. Sorry for my shadow, I'm like in the direct line of sun right now. But you can see the detailing on the sides to make it look darker. I'm not gonna really focus on that too much. I'm not gonna like try to put a darker shade of paint in. Like, this is just for fun. Also, unfortunately, this is pretty similar to this. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna try to just like cover up the red. And I guess at the end of the day, I could always spray paint this like a different color too, if I really wanted to, so that they're a little bit more, they have some juxtaposition rather than looking so similar. But what I need to do first is clean the sign with like an all-purpose cleaner. And then I'm gonna tape off the wheels so that I don't get paint on them. And I'm just gonna try to avoid this. I may end up laying something over it so I don't get any paint on it, but that's what I'm doing today. And I'm gonna listen to A Court of Wings and Ruin while I do it. Also, look at my new skirt. I got this from Psychic Outlaw, which is like, they make ready-made clothes as well as custom clothes. They've made my custom quilt jacket as well as my quilt stocking that I use at my in-laws' house because I sent in Finley's great-grandmother's quilt for them to make the clothes out of. And then I also have a bandana dress from them that's like a bunch of yellow bandanas. But this is so freaking cute. I forget the exact name of it, but it's actually a dress as well. You can make it into like a mini dress, and it's literally my favorite colors. And I just love it so much. I got it like just a couple days ago, but I'm gonna show you. So it has these straps that I've hidden to wear as a skirt today, but you could wear it as like a shirt or a dress. And the straps up here are also adjustable, so I can make them longer so that the dress could be longer. I'm not like obsessed with a mini dress, honestly. I kind of got it to wear it as best of both worlds, and then maybe as a shirt with some fun pants or something like that. But we'll see how I end up styling her. And then this top I got when I was thrifting with Lindsay in DC, and I just love it so much. I just feel like it's one of those tops that I'm just gonna wear forever and ever. The only thing about this skirt that I'm not obsessed with is, I guess I could just untie these. Am I okay? I was like, the bows are so clunky, that's the downside, but it's like, you're supposed to untie them, you crazy ass, and then you won't look like you have some kind of weird bumps on the side view. There we go. Very cute. I love combining patterns these days, like with this little gingham and this little tie-dye-ish patchwork moment. Anyway, let's tape.
I'm just trying to give you something. I'm just trying to give you something spooky to forget. I'm just trying to give you something.
Gravel in my ass. I hope you can hear me and see me. I can't really tell because the light is so bright, but I'm wearing a respirator this time because I did not the last time I spray painted. And even if I'm doing it outside, I would just rather wear this than not. Anyway, let's hope this works. Looks freaking good to me. The bottle says dry to touch in 2 to 4 hours, to handle in 5 to 9 hours, and fully dry in 24. So I wanted to do it today because, well, it's a very sunny day. I'm gonna leave it here to dry in the sunshine. And the color looks really good and rich. There's definitely like a better juxtaposition between the two colors than I anticipated from like the color on the cap to match that. It's way nicer. So it looks really good and very accurate to how minty look. You're so handsome, Larry. Good boy.
I'm not back again this
I feel like I'm looking a little disheveled. I don't know why. I'm about to take the dogs actually just to leave the house and escape the third coat of polyurethane that Finley's putting on today. And I got some comments about this in the last video. We wear respirator masks in like the kitchen area while Finley is working on the upstairs bedroom and outside of the bathroom floors with the polyurethane, and the dogs are not allowed in that room. The only time that they're allowed through there is when they're going outside immediately. And in the last vlog, I think people were concerned because Larry asked to be let back in through the door of the wing where there is no fumes, there's like air conditioning, we have an air filter, like all of the things, you know? But Larry was like waiting at the door and asked to come back in because we leave the door open for ventilation all day. Unless it's raining, then we have to close it because the rain will like blow in through the front door. But when it's not raining and it's beautiful and sunny like this, then we leave the front door open, and the dogs, when they're done going to the bathroom, can just come back through the house and ask at that door to be let back into the wing. So I just want to like assure all of the people watching that they're not allowed in that room. Anytime that they're like standing in there or lingering, we're like, get out, go on the porch, like you cannot be in here. They don't have doggy respirator masks, so we're keeping them out of that room, and they literally only go through it when they go to the bathroom. So just wanted to say that. But I'm about to take the doggies and we're gonna go on a little car ride to the post office because I actually never submitted my P.O. box application form that I was talking about in the last vlog because life has just been crazy and I haven't been able to make it back to the post office. But I'm gonna do a quick trip just for that because, well, one, I want to, and like I said today, I'm just doing all of the things that I've been avoiding for some reason. But also I can't stay out too long because Finley has an eye doctor appointment at 3. Hopefully I can get there actually with no GPS this time. I'm gonna try. Me has to be back in a specific amount of time. Also me, hope I don't get lost. That was a success. I set up my P.O. box and I'll put the address on the screen if you feel inclined to send your girl a letter. I'll also update my description box that my P.O. box is open again. Yay! Okay, very thrilling times. We had a little bit of back and forth because of, you know, post office reasons, but it was fine. And I'm gonna head home now so Finley can take the car to his appointment. All right, it's been a little over 4 hours, going on 5, so let's check in on good old Minty here. There was some crap that friggin' blew in with the wind that got into the paint a little bit, but it's an outdoor sign. I'm not too worried about it. I just wanna see these wheels and make sure that this is gonna look okay. Let's see. I might bring you in for a tighter shot of the wheel reveal. That's a nice phrase to say. Wheel reveal. Say that 5 times fast. It's not the cleanest line because it's really hard to put painter's tape on a curve, but it doesn't look terrible. Only a little bit. Okay, well, it's not the prettiest thing, but it's pretty good. Well, as you can see, there are some minor imperfections, but hey, I'm not too worried about it. I'd say this project was a big thumbs up from me. I'd say that looks pretty fucking cute. I don't know about you. I don't know what you would say, but that's what I'm gonna say. What a fun project. Minty didn't have these little cutouts either, but hey, I love it. It's gorgeous. Also, I do not care enough to spray paint the backside. That was also red at one point. I just feel like it's kind of irrelevant to me what the back of it looks like. Mainly the front is going to be on display. So I'm fine with this. She's gorgeous, glorious, and she's kind of shiny. She's giving sparkle. Look at me, my cute little sign. Now when people come to my house, I can be like, yeah, that's an ode to my truck. Thanks, commenter, for saying this. You gave me a great idea, and it was a fun project. Cute, cute, cute. Go, go, go. Morning. Morning glory, y'all. It's Friday, and I'm having my coffee and reading in bed. I just started this new book, Striptease by Kate Flannery, and contrary to what I originally thought, this is not the Kate Flannery who plays Meredith in The Office. This is a completely different Kate Flannery, who's actually the front woman of a Little Richard cover band called Big Dick in LA. She also works for RuPaul's Drag Race. Slay. And I actually found out about this book through Goodreads. Like, it was recommended to me on Goodreads popular page or something like that. So because I love a good memoir, I picked it up. I've read probably 3, I think this is my 4th memoir this year. I wasn't normally a memoir girl, and this year I have become one. I've just read a lot of amazing memoirs, and I'm just recently in that phase of life. Also, before this, I was reading All About Love by Bell Hooks for our August and September book club, because it was just kind of, it's one of those reads that's like, you need to chew on it for a while, you know? And it was just way too fast paced to do in a month. And over time, I just kind of was like, I need something that's gonna like keep my interest a little bit more than this. Not meaning any offense to the book. It's a very popular book and it was great. It's just more focused on philosophy and feminism and like the root of love. And I just kind of want something more engaging at times. So yeah, I'm gonna read this for the rest of September. And then probably in October, I think we're gonna do like a spooky book for book club, but I just wanted to give a little book club update on here. Normally I just update on my Bookstagram, which is here. But the reason books are on my brain is because I just went through 2 out of 5 of my boxes of books that are in the basement because my sister asked me to read one of my favorite books of all time, which is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I just finished the show, rewatching it a second time, and just, that show. So many themes in that book and the show just really resonate with me. And there's honestly times when I watch it where I cry because it's like what I would have wanted to be told, you know, in times where I was going through some and I just feel like Paul Mescal for Connell, like, could not have been a better role. And for Marianne. Honestly, like, both characters are absolutely iconic. If you've never seen the show, it's on Hulu. Please watch it. But also, I recommend reading the book. I recently ordered one, if not two books by Sally Rooney off Thrift Books, and I'm just waiting for those to come in the mail. And I'm just kind of, yeah, I've been in a mood where I'm just like getting all of the media that I want to consume. Finley's lawn mowing outside, if you can hear him. He loves the mower. He can't get enough of the mower ever since he put new blades on. And it has finally not been rainy, and it's probably not gonna rain for a while, actually. Woohoo! Which is great also for when our roofers come. The summer was super rainy, but hopefully it'll just kind of dry up a little bit in fall, and we can enjoy the crisp, cool weather, but not have wet, cool weather. I never know what's in store with the weather, but anyway, that's what he's doing outside.
Just then.
Meg told me to maybe recap my week a little bit. I've mostly been battling the floor that I unfortunately messed up pretty bad in my first two coats of it. I've just had a whole litany of problems, and that's finally starting to turn around. I'm very happy to tell you all. I did a coat this week, and I changed my applicator to a brush rather than a lamb's wool applicator. Thinned my polyurethane a little bit, and it really helped just smooth things out. And still not all the way there, but it's a step in the right direction. I just got my eyes checked because I need new glasses. It's been months in the making, so that's been a really big thing for me. The actual good news there is that my eyes barely changed. So the good news is that my eyes aren't getting worse. The bad news is that I waited like months to get a new prescription for no reason, because I could have just pretty much used my old one. That's okay though. They were nice. Optometrists. I wanted to say opticians. That's not it. Yeah, so we've been getting a roofer out. We picked the guy, accepted a bid, so that's in the process. They're gonna come out and measure the roof and just get everything so that they can, you know, order the right amount and all that. Obviously, it's the internet. People say a lot of things. I do it too, you know, comment on things that you don't particularly know what you're talking about or like understand the context, but it may look pretty dramatic, especially that day with the storm and all the water coming through the ceiling. And I mean, it was dramatic, and I certainly wasn't expecting that, but you know, we bought this house fully anticipating to immediately replace the roof. Nothing's really changed there, you know. That's one of the first things we tried to find somebody to do. We've continued to move along with it, and we're pretty close to having it done at this point. And all the interior leaking from that storm, really, other than making us more eager for it to happen, didn't really change anything. So there's not really much need for concern on anybody else's part or ours particularly. Like, we don't need to be opening lawsuits and things like that. Yeah, we went with the corrugated metal roof. We're both stoked to not be doing asphalt shingle. We really wanted a metal roof, but we decided to go with the cheaper kind. It just made more sense for us in our situation here. As far as like the roof integrity goes, you know, we've had a couple roofers out, and I was talking with the guy who's actually going to do it, walked him up to the unfinished part of our wing where the ceiling's like exposed. It's just the rafters, and then you can see the steel roof above it. Judging from in there, there's no particular rot on the rafters or anything. There is, you know, really good airflow there, so it could be worse on the other side, where it's trapped in with insulation and interior siding where the ceiling is. Fingers crossed that the rafters aren't, you know, particularly rotted or anything, but the roofer seems optimistic that we wouldn't need to literally, you know, be like rebuilding half of our roof or something like that. So, and he said if there's any kind of like minor rot or whatever, that him and his team can fix it up, and it's no big deal. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty much totally fine about that. I mean, it sucks when water's coming inside of our house, but that's only happened that one time when the storm was really bad. So hopefully we don't get another bad storm like that before the roof gets replaced. But I think that'll probably happen like next month. We'll actually, you know, they'll do the job, so we don't have too much farther to go. Some other exciting I put a reservation deposit on a tractor. I'll probably have a lot more to say about this once I understand exactly how everything's gonna go. But it's an electric tractor, definitely a consumer grade, like hobbyist, homestead level tractor, not like a massive beast. The company is called Soletrac, I think, like SOLETRAC. The market for electric tractors is still in its infancy. Basically, for somebody like in my position, there's one option, or I guess two options from one company, and those two options are very similar. But I have terrible luck with anything that runs on a gas, diesel, whatever engine. I don't know anything about them. I'm not very interested in them, and I'm very discouraged from my previous experiences. So I'm probably more willing than some to pay a premium for an electric alternative to, you know, something that's conventionally a combustion engine. And I'm very excited to get it, to use it. I've seen some cool videos online of people, you know, who have gotten it, doing some tests and comparisons and all that. And, you know, it looks like it very much so holds its own against equivalent use case tractors and whatnot, with, you know, like anything, some different strengths and weaknesses. You know, better at some stuff, a little worse at some other stuff. But I'll get into all that a little deeper once I get the tractor, know more, all that stuff. We're gonna get the bucket attachment, the bigger industrial tires, and a backhoe attachment, and then we'll also be getting a grader, snowplow, probably all kinds of other stuff, but one step at a time. So that's very exciting. I'm really downplaying it right now. I'm freaking out internally about that. To own my own tractor would be such an achievement in my life, just such a milestone of growth in the journey to become a man. That is an important step for me. Very exciting all around. Yeah, I think that's about all I had to say. I've been talking for about probably 3 hours, just chilling on my lawnmower. I was gonna go mow the lawn, but then actually she said earlier to catch people up on my week. Sorry I didn't film more. I'm filming everything for, I think we're gonna do like a separate video on refinishing the floor. So, you know, I did film stuff this week, but I guess it's all gonna go to that. You'll have to wait for it.
Meanwhile,
On the media thing, I've just been like ordering a bunch of vinyl off of Discogs, and I'm waiting for them all to come in to where I can like share them with you in a haul. I've actually been doing a handful of retail therapy. I told y'all in the last vlog at the end of it that I ordered a bunch of Zumba clothes so that I can just have a bunch of like outfits to wear when I'm an instructor, and it will like motivate me. In my brain, I'm like, this will motivate me to really get a job teaching in person or just starting my online classes, which I'm still trying to figure out if I'm gonna do them through Patreon or through a different like means. I feel like it would be more accessible to do through a bigger means where everybody can join, but maybe I'll start practicing my online classes with my patrons just because they can get like first come first serve. Like I'm thinking that's probably what I'll do, and that'll be like in the meantime while I'm waiting to teach in person and get a class established for myself or as like a sub. But I am going on vacation soon, so I'm planning on just like tending to all of that when I get back into town. We're going to California. A lot of people have commented and been like, y'all just need a break from this house, you know, just for a second, because when you're renovating a house, you just need to like go and recharge for a little bit and then come back to it refreshed and renewed. And we're very excited to do that and also spend time with my family and see my cousin get married and all that kind of good stuff. We're gonna be around Newport Beach, California for like a week, which is a major slay. And also on this trip, I'm probably gonna vlog it, honestly, because there's gonna be some things y'all need to see. So maybe I'll just wait for you guys to see that, but I'm just gonna say we're gonna be doing another move. Yeah, we're gonna be bringing back the moving vlogs again, or at least one more moving vlog, because we have to move our stuff from Virginia to Vermont again, because we moved up probably, I'd say like 75%, actually maybe 60% of our belongings, but we still have 40 in Virginia, and then also the pigs are in Virginia. And Finley, the reason he hasn't really been on this vlog is because he's been so busy with the floors. It's just been super time consuming. And now that we're going out of town, we're like, oh, well, we didn't really make headway on the pig pasture. You know what I mean? So we were thinking that maybe we could just get a temporary little setup for them when we move them up here and do a smaller pasture or a pallet fenced pasture like they used to have in Oregon, or just like limit their grazing space a little bit smaller while we build out their bigger pasture and like get the soil ready for them to graze on, because we are concerned about some areas of the outdoors where there was trash burning. We need to have our neighbor come by and get just like a big scoop of soil with his backhoe and honestly just take that to the dump because we're concerned about it. And we are going to do soil testing on that area, by the way. I'm going to do soil testing where the pigs are going to graze, and then where I want my orchard to be and then where the raised beds are gonna be. So I'm gonna test in like 3 different areas, and I'm pretty sure you can send them in to like most major universities, but I already found one in New Hampshire that I'm gonna send in the soil samples to, so I just have to like do that. But yeah, there's definitely like some things to get in order before we leave town. I also just have to like pack for the family trip, but honestly, I just feel like I want to show that in a different video, so I'll do that then. But today is Friday. In about 2 hours, we're going to go to the vet as a family to meet our new vet and the vet techs and everything like that, and then also get the dog's nails and glands done. A couple of you commented about just going to see a dog groomer, but we prefer to do it at a vet because it's like you can do everything all at once. You don't have to like get a dog groomer and a vet, you know what I mean? And the dogs don't have long hair, so we don't need them to be like groomed frequently. We just get that stuff done at our vet, which is also just like swifter for us personally. Anyway, this is turning into a long clip. I just love talking to you guys, and I feel like in this vlog you can tell how much I've been talking to you, and I hope it was a good video nevertheless. You know, I got to work out, I got groceries, Finley went to the dentist, we went to the doctor. There was a lot of like, you know, random appointments and updates, and also we have another appointment today, and then Finley gets a haircut tomorrow. So it's been appointment central, and he got a new eyeglasses prescription yesterday, which he's been really trying to do since he lost his glasses. So it was just a week of appointments and updates. It was less like major headway on the renovation, but we did move forward with paying the deposit on hiring our roofer. That is the update there. And we've also been talking to some people about our siding to maybe replace with them in spring, because the siding is not like an ASAP project, at least not that we know of. And so we've been kind of like, you know, exploring all of that. Anyway, I'm giving you like way too many updates to end off this vlog, but thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my story times of the worst Zumba class and the best Zumba class that I've been to so far here in Vermont. I'm glad I had that redemption. I'm glad that we got so much done in the way of like our personal health this week as well with all these appointments and things. And in the next few days, we're just going to be getting things all situated to go out of town and leave this house for the first time. Well, Finley's first time. I went to freaking DC like a week into the move. So yeah, but we're very excited, and I'll probably do a California vlog. So y'all will have that to look forward to. But I love you. Thank you for watching. If you're ever curious about, you know, the goings on with more of the behind the scenes, then you can go and check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Meghan Hughes. You can support for as little as $1 a month. And I love my patrons. I love you guys as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. All right, stay smiling. Bye, y'all.